We have a large number of lakes in our federal state. There are approximately 28 lakes greater than 50 hectares and 260 lakes greater than 10 hectares and 1,300 lakes greater than 1 hectare. And we can't monitor all of these lakes with our in situ monitoring techniques. So we have to rely on satellite remote sensing data. And therefore we have to use the data from the Copernicus program, especially the data from Sentinel-2 and Sentinel-3 missions. We started in the year 2022 that we were using Copernicus data for our remote sensing program and for the satellite-based water lake monitoring program. In this time, we started especially using the Sentinel-2 and Sentinel-3 mission data. And in the year 23 and 24, we extended our monitoring program to a number of 200 lakes. And in this year, 2025, for the very first time, started to monitor all lakes bigger than 5 hectares. This sums up to a total number of 450 lakes. We are using two different methodologies. First of all, we have a retrospective type of remote sensing monitoring, and we have another type which is near real-time processing the satellite data. In this manner, with a near real-time processing of the data, we see instantaneous changes in the water quality of the waters and the lakes, and we can react immediately to upcoming potentially harmful developments in our lakes. There's a multitude of beneficiaries. First and foremost, it's our state agency for environmental protection, which gets for the very first time consistent and comparable water quality information for a huge number of lakes in our federal state. As I said, now 450 lakes under monitoring and where we get the water quality information from the satellite. Second, we also offer this data to other administrative authorities and also to water protection agencies in our federal state. And it's also planned to give this data to the general public in the future. And at the end, in general, it's always good, and for the society as a whole, it's good if the inland waters and lakes are monitored and protected well, and we have a good water quality for all of them. Our case is directly linked to the Water Framework Directive of the European Commission, and for sure this is our main regulatory framework in which we are working in and in which we are doing all our monitoring activities. Therefore, it would be also very important and very good if the Water Framework Directive would give a greater focus also on remote sensing technologies. It would be very beneficiary for our work and for the use of satellite data if the Water Framework Directive would explicitly mention or even recommend or maybe even demand the Copernicus program to be used for future inland water monitoring programs and practices. We are very much looking forward for the new developments and for the new satellites to come. We expect a lot of new missions and higher temporally and spatially resolved data from the satellite program, especially from the Sentinel-2 and Sentinel-3 missions of the Copernicus program. There are also some new sensors which we are very excited about. For instance, the hyperspectral sensors, which will give us new possibilities to gain insight into the ecosystem functioning, and for sure would be very interesting and very helpful for our work would be if all these new methodologies and new sensors would be mentioned in the Water Framework Directive in order to foster our work and the usage of Copernicus data within this special field of environmental protection and environmental monitoring.